All right, welcome back to the Vault Report. I'm here with Providence assistant coach Nate Tomlinson. How we doing, Nate? Second off season in Rhode Island. How we feeling?
Yeah, a little more relaxed this time around. With our roster set, and everything like that. But it's sunny outside, about 75 degrees, so can't complain.
Absolutely. And I want to talk about obviously the portal, but before we get to that, I know that's kind of always the focus now after the season ends. Always new additions. I know you have mentioned it. Kim has mentioned how retention obviously still is kind of the lifeline, the lifeblood of a program. For you as a staff, and even you've been in the coaching ranks for several years now, but just the end of year conversations, how if any have those changed just with the immediacy of something like the portal, and how do those conversations obviously went with returning guys, which you guys have a lot of them, great ones coming back.
Yeah, I think there's different ways to do it. Us as a staff, we try to be as honest, always as honest as possible. And it's constant dialogue with our guys. It's not just, like they're in the dark all year. But we try to be as honest as possible. Sometimes it hurts us, but we want to be fully upfront with the kids, and make sure that if we don't think it's a right fit for them here, if it's a mutual kind of decision, that they have as much time as possible to find a new landing spot. In the past, that's always worked out well when we've made quick decisions, and let them make their mind up if they want to enter the portal, and then they have kind of first crack, I guess, so to speak, at finding a new place and getting in the portal before it kind of gets too crazy and lots of names are in there. So it's been a kind of a system that's worked well for us personally, but also for our guys that have left.
Yeah. And kind of on the same note of retention, two guys that obviously will be back in the fold for you guys coming off injuries, obviously, starting with Bryce, updates just kind of in terms of, how their work ethic, not just their work ethic, but how they're recovering from their injuries. And obviously Justin Fernandez, a guy that PC fans haven't been able to see yet. But I know you guys are very high on. He showed his ability to perform at a high level his freshman year at George Mason. But just injury related, those guys, any updates on how they're progressing?
Yeah, Bryce was obviously the cornerstone for us. Getting him to come back, and obviously he really wanted to be here in Friartown with the support of the community and the department, and obviously his teammates and us as a staff. So once Bryce committed to that and coming back and going through his process, we tried to build a team best around him. Now he's obviously going through a pretty big, significant recovery, but he's on track. He's ahead of schedule. He was in the gym yesterday getting shots up. Knees looking good, starting to do some jumping. We'll be transitioning to some running stuff here pretty soon. So all signs are looking really positive for Bryce. And the best thing is just his spirit. He's in a really good headspace. He's comfortable here. He knows his teammates, and everything like that. So his he should be on track for a return somewhere around the start of the season, which will be really good for us. Justin, is obviously ready to go full tilt. He probably could have played last year, towards the end of the season. We just kind of slowed play his return recovery, best thing for him. But he's raring to go. He'll be full tilt once the guys get back next week. So and then Rich Barron had his shoulder repaired about 6 weeks ago now. So he'll be no contact for most of the summer, and then be ready to go once the season starts as well. So 3 guys coming back from three significant injuries, but all kind of heading in the right direction.
And, shifting to the portal, I was joking, obviously, when I first talked to you, seeing if Kim gave you some time off. I know it probably didn't seem like it for you guys, but it seemed like you guys were able to kind of hit the portal. Were very efficient. Seemed like, you went after the guys, your targets, and they committed. How is it, year two? Obviously, you guys getting hired last year, you obviously you're selling the program. You knew how the Providence program was in terms of the the enthusiasm, right? But being able to experience it, having a year under your belt, not just selling you as a staff, but the program. How much easier was that for you going into the portal this year two?
Yeah, well, that that sells itself. You know, the environment at the amp, you know, our fan support, you know, Friartown, all that our fan support online and social media, those guys, that sells itself. We don't really need to do that. Our, you know, recruits feel that, our guys feel that. As far as retention goes, that's why they want to be here. Um, but us as a staff, you know, I guess the guys that we targeted, they didn't need to guess anymore. They had a year of seeing what it looked like with Kim, you know, as the head coach, our system in the Big East. You know, obviously guys that had great years, you know, Bryce up until he got hurt, Devin Carter, obviously, who's going to be a first round pick here in a couple of weeks. You know, they saw what we didn't have to kind of foreshow, you know, what it was going to be. You know, they could see it. They saw the success we had. Obviously, we had some injuries that sucked, but they could see what we were building, and we didn't have to kind of sell them a dream, so to speak. So and they're about all the things that we wanted them to be about. You know, that was really important in the process. Is they were all about winning. The four transfers that we did bring in, they're all about the right things, and it was just kind of a perfect match, and that's why I think it didn't take very long to get done.
Yeah. And you know, don't have to go into each one necessarily, but obviously, you know, outside of Creased, these are all upperclassmen, right? Who have had experience in big time leagues. You know the Big East well now in terms of how much experience matters. And size. How much was that a focus for you guys after kind of seeing you know Big East play, and then going after guys who have competed at a high level and have done it for several years?
Yeah, I think we owed it to you know, ourselves, one, and our upperclassmen, Bryce, Jaden, now Corey, those sorts of guys, you know, to have a real crack at it again. Obviously, we didn't have the team success that we would have liked to, ultimate success that we would have liked to. Um, you know, and I think it shows that we have real belief in our young guys. You know, the Rich Barons, Justin Fernandez, you know, our freshman incoming, Ryan Miller, those guys that next year, once the seniors do leave, hey, it's your guys' turn to carry this thing on. So we really believe in those young guys. Hopefully they'll come in and learn again from this upperclassmen, you know, guys of likes of, you know, Bensley Joseph, who's played in the Final Four, played in the Elite Eight. Those sorts of experiences, they're hard to, you can't manufacture them. You know what I mean? So it's good for those young guys.
And one of the big, you know, holes, obviously, you know, that is leaving, you know, and talk about someone like Josh O'Durl, the size and obviously depth at that position. For you guys, you know, one guy I did want to kind of just talk to specifically was Creased, right? A guy coming from St. Joe's, 7 feet, you know, provides that size. You also even previously what was it, I think mid last year bringing on Anton. But the importance of size and crease for you, what you guys saw in him and the potential, the vision you have for him.
Yeah, so we first were introduced to Crease. It was 2 years ago. You know, going through our warm-ups at George Mason, and this huge guy just walks out of the tunnel for St. Joe's, starts going through his work, and I'm like, holy, who's that? And oh, he's sitting out, he's not eligible. He was committed to Providence, but couldn't get in, whatever the circumstance was. And then we actually scrimmaged against him last October and saw firsthand, you know, how talented he was and all those sorts of things. Um, and then when he went in the portal, it was just he'd already been here, he'd already committed to here, he wanted to be here. And obviously we wanted him just as much. So it was a pretty quick process. You know, as far as learning people from, you know, from nothing. We had no idea who he was. We never recruited him previously. So I think that goes to show how special this place is and this school is in the community. Um, his family wanted him here, so it was a perfect match. But on the court, obviously he provides the size, like you said. but all the intangible things that we love as well, shooting, passing that Oduro could do. He allows us to play the same style that we like to play, 5 out, 4 out, 1 in type of an offense, and really not skip a beat too much on the offensive end. Obviously, he doesn't have the experience Josh has, but when it comes to skill and being able to score that ball, he can do that at a really high level. So the combination with him and Anton, we can play the same way, which is exciting. We have to switch up really how we play, but they're two huge guys that can kind of anchor our defense at the rim, protect the rim, and then really give defenses a hard time on the other end with their ability to stretch the floor and pass the ball.
And, just last question again, appreciate the time as always. You look at scheduling. I know it was recently announced and I'm forgetting the tournament. You can remind me. Off the MTE you guys just switched into.
Yeah, it's not officially announced,
Okay.
but it's,
I'll
it'll be a little bit warmer weather, I think.
Gotcha. All right, I'll knock that one out. But as you guys go into, scheduling, and I don't know, which assistant, I know it's a head coach, as you guys kind of just, formulate that. What is the intention? What are you guys kind of hoping for as you guys prepare for the Big East Conference? Obviously, there's so many metrics that go into the NCAA tournament, but just things that you're looking at as possibilities, in the for the non-conference schedule.
Yeah, it's kind of college basketball in a nutshell. I do a lot of our scheduling, obviously, with Kim and Kevin Kerback, who has years and years of experience. He's great to work with as well. It's like I said, it's ever evolving. This time last year, we thought Bryce Hopkins would be in the NBA. We thought, we'd have a certain type of roster. Again, those things change. Now we have we thought we were going to be a little younger this year. Some things change. Now we have an older group ready to win, ready to compete on the road. So we're obviously gonna change our schedule, best to fit that, to give us the best chance, to get an at-large bid. But at the end of the day, you got to win games, and you got to win them convincingly, and you got to play well. It doesn't matter really what your schedule is. The committee can say what they want, but the proof is really in the pudding. There's no strategical plan when they select these teams. So our job is to win every single game. If we do that, we'll be in. I know that for a fact. And last year we didn't lose any bad games, which was good, but it didn't really help us. So, we need to win, some of our earlier games. We need to be a little bit more convincing, with how we play and how we win and how efficient we are. And that'll be a step, we need to take forward, next year. But win games, win them convincingly, and handle your business. And I think, and obviously we need to have more success in the Big East. 10-10 it just wasn't good enough. No, we can't. There's no excuses. We need to be better, and I think we will.
Well, listen, Nate, appreciate the time as always. Hopefully you get some more time this summer to enjoy the New England weather, but I appreciate it as always.
Thanks, Nate.